Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming you all to this International Affairs program broadcasting live from the Dhaka's SATV Gulshan studio. My name is Shamsul Alam Pantha and I will bring you all of the updates pertaining to this new global order. But before I do so, I will introduce all my panelists here in the studio and across Zoom. In the studio, we have Mr. Qazi Shah Muzakkar Ahmedul, who is honorary consul to Croatia from Bangladesh as well. As a business leader and entrepreneur, I welcome him onto this program. Sir, it is I'm glad to have you in the studio today, as well as Norman Floyd Barnes, our geopolitical correspondent from District of Columbia, Washington. I want to begin with Norman. There is some reports coming out regarding the Joint Chief Chairman, General Dan Kane. He is not in the position to comment or to say that he is against this ideal of attacking Iran at any means necessary. However, Donald Trump is saying and stating that these reports are 100% incorrect. I want to understand more from you because we all understand that a huge military presence is taking forth in the Middle East region. I want to know more from Norman Floyd Barnes, District of Columbia.
Greetings. Good morning from Washington, D.C. In regards to your statement about the military officers' comments, traditionally, active military officers do not comment about issues of military operations, particularly active military operations. So this is highly unusual for even that utterance of such a comment from a military official. And I'm pretty sure we'll hear more from it from the president and the Secretary of War. Thank you.
Of course, important comments coming from Norman Floyd regarding this. Of course, one who is serving a military cannot comment regarding the orders of the head of state, in this case that is Donald J. Trump. And focusing back into the studio with Qazi Shah Muzakkar Ahmedul. As you were hearing Norman Floyd Barnes, and we understand that Iran and US have been sharing this conflict. We know Iran's nation is being headed by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who is of course of people call his governance a regime. An Islamic revolution had taken to this country, and of course US forces are now trying to utilize all of its bases and assets in the region, trying to push this regime out of control and out of power. And of course, we've seen just last month how the US forces has targeted Venezuela, taken over its oil reserves, and is now looting it, plundering it. These are the words and terminology I can use in this scenario, but something similar of the sort is being seen on Iran. I want your comments and views, how you think about this unfolding situation.
I personally think that there is actually a bigger geopolitical issue behind this. Definitely, one country wouldn't invade a country without, necessary information and necessary actions to back it up. There has to be some relevant documents and relevant information for do that. However, I personally am against someone who's against war, against invading country, against attacking a sovereign state. Because I think every war starts with words and every war ends with words. So it is usually we see that treaties that are actually stopping wars. It's not the fighting, it's not the bombing, it's not the fighting that stops a war. But yes, it does initiate a war. But it all boils down to words. The choices of words we use, what we say and how we say, to whom we say, is actually what triggers a war. So in my personal and humble opinion, war is something that I do not promote. So I would definitely, the best way to approach this is to come to the table and negotiate and discuss the differences that the both two countries have. So this is my humble opinion. I think, no matter what happens, even if we see the past wars, the recent wars that have taken place in the world, all of them actually has come to an end through negotiation process, through table talks. None of it has come to an end with killing and bombing. And with wars, what's the sad part is that there are civilian casualties. And right. That is something, innocent people are dying as a result of attacks on countries. So we really don't, as a human being, this is something we would say it's not acceptable. If it's not acceptable. But again, these are this war, what we feel that will change and reshape the world and how we see the world. And personally speaking, I think what we can advocate for is for the two countries to sit for. Although we're not in a very important position ourselves to speak for that, but we would definitely encourage countries, that has key countries around the world to really initiate negotiation between these two countries.
Of course, very important updates from you, sir. Of course, as you pointed out, some of these nations that conduct dialogue and discussion between one another, between the two rival sides. I would also try to mention Turkey in this regard, because I've seen them try to negotiate not only in the Gaza-Palestine issue, but as well as Ukraine and Russia. I want to follow on with Norman Floyd Barnes. I know for a fact that we have been doing this live reporting regarding the Middle East and, of course, regarding the Palestine situation. We also understand how the occupied West Bank no longer shall be called occupied, as it is turning into a plot or onto a land ownership of Israel. And that is how people are seeing it, as Turkey, the Arab League, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and 18 other countries have condemned in the strongest terms a series of Israeli decisions to drastically extend unlawful Israeli control over the West Bank. We know 80,000 deaths have happened over the attack on Gaza, and this genocide that is taken to the big screens all over the planet. I want to understand, what is this rhetoric you see, especially in connection with the warlike situation with Iran? Norman Floyd Barnes.
Yes, thank you again for that question. Gaza is one thing. The war is absolutely devastating, and it's going to go down one of the worst when they find out one of the worst casualty and loss of human life as we reflect back on World War II. I predict that when the boots gets on the ground, when the policing comes in from the other countries and Israel moves out to the West Bank and to the other parts of the region, you will see a similar effect that we had when we went into the concentration camps in Poland and Europe to the end of World War II. So it's absolutely a historical sign that we have not learned anything. So the issue with the West Bank is the annexation. So the talk is now, which is the worst case scenario, is that Israel is annexing the West Bank. This will displace thousands of people who have been there before Israel came, and now they are now being displaced, dismantled, genocide, sent some other place, and Israel is attempting to claim it as their own land. This will not go over very well. It will not be very successful. They may attempt to do this, but you thought Gaza was bad, the West Bank is going to be 100 times worse than that, trying to control and manage and take over that. It would be maybe the downfall. I'm going on a limb, maybe the downfall of Israel in regarding this. So what we now seeing a more widespread use of Israel trying to maintain and manage and control the region. This will spread over to Iran and the other middle parts of that region. The United States position is to go in and deal with the nuclear, as stated, the nuclear threats, the nuclear ambitions of the country, and also hope to basically dismantle the current regime. This again will not be successful because we do not have the ability by ourselves, even with Israel, to put boots on the ground. And that's the only way this thing is going to be address and resolve in the West. We can bomb, we can, we can do a lot of other things that will cripple the economy. But until we put boots on the ground, we will not have a real effect on what's going on in that region. And that country is so vast. It's a vast amount of country. And any boots on the ground will have a similar effect that we had in Vietnam. So these are very poignant things that we need to be aware of and what we're looking at in the future. Yes, there's a plan. The plan is very powerful, very prolific, very surgical, very professional. But the issue is that you're dealing with will. Just like we're dealing with Ukraine, there was a plan to go into get Ukraine, and that incident, that attack is supposed to have been over in 48 hours. Well, we're 4 years, 5 years into that now.
Right.
So if we have to get into Iran, we're looking at longer than that. We're looking at maybe a 10-year issue trying to accomplish something which we don't understand. And I'm saying that the communications, as my colleague said, is you start with the conversation, you end with the conversation. So as long as they're talking and they're communicating, this travesty will be delayed. I said
Of course.
delayed. There will be something occurring, but an all-out war is prevented if we talk to each other. So we must encourage through all parts, even South Asia, that the dialogue continues and we do not take actions because that action will affect the whole entire earth. Everybody's here. Things are in place to set up a, a situation where the invaders will come in, but they will not leave in the manner in which they came in, uh, similar like Vietnam.
Of course.
So the plan is basically is to continue the dialogue, and the dialogue will give us the keys to where we need to go and take the focus off of the armed confrontation. The armed confrontation is just a a instrument used for frustrated communicators. When they can't communicate, they go to arms, and when they get tired of fighting, they come back to arms and talk. So let's get to the chase. Let's start and end this thing with the communication and the understanding that we are different. We have different viewpoints, but we are still the same one people.
Very important updates from Norman Floyd Barnes. As you were hearing him through Zoom, I want to ask you this very next question. Dialogue over war. And we know this current situation, there is a global choke point called the Strait of Hormuz. It is where Oman and all the other countries are sending their crude oil exports to around the world. It has huge implications not only for the rest of the economies, but as well as Bangladesh. I want your comment. How do you see this war unfolding and its effect on the economic effect that it might have on countries who haven't had the LDC graduation? I'm talking about our country. So I want your comments regarding this issue.
You have actually raised a very good point. Actually, if you see our crude import, 100% of our crude import is from the Middle East, and it is from it's from UAE and as well as from Saudi Arabia. And that strait is one of the strait that uses where our ships, our crude carriers are coming from. And if there is instability in that region, that means that the Strait of Hormuz is also affected. So it definitely affects us, and we are a country that is in dire need of energy. Right now we are having an energy crisis, and even Qatar. If you say Qatar, we import LNG from Qatar and Oman, and that two country will be affected as well if there is a war in that region. So when it comes to shipments, our LNG imports and our crude imports will be heavily affected. So since energy is a very important aspect of our country, I mean, we need to run our textile industry, and that is what gives through which we earn dollars for us to make the necessary imports that we import. So that will be heavily affected
Right.
if there is a crisis in our energy sector. Furthermore, when trade routes are rerouted, there will be changes in the global shipping as well. And with changes in global shipping, that means a lot of our products and a lot of our containers and a lot of our shipments will be rerouted. That would take time, and it will have a global implication. Not only affect Bangladesh but affect globally, because most of our buyers are European and North American buyers. And if there is any of the sea routes, if there is any trouble, that will overall change the landscape of global freight as well.
Very important updates once more from Qazi Shah Muzakkar Ahmedul in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take a short commercial break. Afterwards, we shall talk about the issues pertaining to our region. Do stay tuned on International Affairs. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Pantha.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen,
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Pantha.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
Testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to International Affairs here in the SATV studio. We are also joined in the studio by Qazi Shah Muzakkar Ahmedul as well as Norman Floyd Barnes from District of Columbia. I want to begin from inside the studio and ask Mr. Shah regarding Bangladesh and its future as you see fit. We know we have regional cooperation is being strengthened. We have a new government architecture here in Bangladesh. As we are reeling from multiple problems, not only of national concern, there is very enormous issues that Bangladesh is reeling through, and to have expectations of this very new formed government as so soon is a matter of concern. But I am optimistic for the betterment of Bangladesh, and I'm sure you are as well. I want your understanding regarding Bangladesh and its growth, how you see it as a young business leader as well.
Thank you, Shamsul. I think Bangladesh, the growth of Bangladesh is inevitable, because we have this advantage of 180 million people, and this is our biggest economic strength. And if we can really utilize these individuals that we have in Bangladesh, we equip them with the right knowledge, the right skill, and the right attitude. Growth and economic development and prosperity, there is no one to stop us from achieving those. What I feel that with the new government in place, I feel that they have a very positive attitude. That's what we have seen in the past couple of 1 week or so. And we feel that if this positive attitude, if they harness this positive attitude and this energy that they're trying to bring forth, I think there is something good is happening. You know, we already made a name for ourselves in the world. We are Bangladesh is one of the largest exporters of ready-made garments, and we are also one of the top in textile. Our pharmaceutical industry is doing fairly well. Beside that, you know, we have other industries. Our jute industry was doing pretty well in the past, but it's trying to make a comeback. Other than that, you know, the government, I think what we have seen in their manifestos of the new government, they have also started to prioritize few industries like leather, footwear, light engineering, and as well as food processing and few others. This is something I think will add value to our economy.
Right.
And you know, our economy is very much based on hard skills, and because biggest contributor in terms of our foreign currency earning is our migrant workers, and also who are involved in hard skills, and as well as our ready-made garments, where we employ about 42 million people. 4.2 million people. So if we can really align these individuals and our workforce towards these new industries that the government is prioritizing now, and if we can really encourage and as well as guide our financial sectors towards this industry, I think we will have some amazing results, and we can diversify our export portfolio. One thing that I've noticed, you know, these industries were in priority in the beginning. Before, but one thing that I felt was there was lack of initiative in terms of training our workforce and labor force. That is from the government as well as from entrepreneurs. Another thing that I've seen was there was negligence from the financial sectors. Financial sectors was too comfortable in funding, you know, textiles and garments, because there's an easy business, proven business. They know they will do good. Whereas, you know, in the past, when the garment sector flourished, it was bankers and the financial institute. They would have handpicked and cherry-picked the, you know, managers and DGMs of these government banks. They would handpick and cherry-pick individuals they thought would add value to the industry, and then fund them and finance them to start up a garment industry. This attitude has to come back when it comes to footwear, when it comes to leather, when it comes to light engineering, when it comes to other industries like food processing, etc. Because we have about, in Bhairab area, we have about, there was a study that was saying there was, I think, 2,200 or 22,000 factories, small factories, handmade factories that makes handmade shoes. And if we can really guide them, provide them the right skills, the right tools, the right knowledge, and the right financing, we can develop minimum 500 or 600, 700 or 800, even 1,000 footwear factories from that zone alone. And there are plenty of entrepreneurs who are looking towards this industry, exploring this industry. And if we can really give them the right guide, the right stimulus packages, help them stand up on their own, I think there's nothing can stop Bangladesh. And 180 million people, right? So it is set to become the 9th largest consumer market in the world. Will be $1 trillion economy soon. It is the sheer volume of our domestic economy, the sheer volume of our consumption that will propel us to those numbers. And I'm very confident, which is why people like us, those who have studied abroad or those who have been abroad, stayed abroad, now thinking of Bangladesh as a destination to come back, their home, to come back and do something for the country and develop something here. In developed worlds, really you don't have much opportunities, but in countries like Bangladesh, the opportunities are immense. Whenever people ask me, why did you come back, I say, everything that is wrong, that you see wrong with this country is an opportunity for you to develop, and an opportunity for you to do something good. So this is why I think this is a land of opportunity, and this is where if you have the will, if you have the mindset, you'll be able to do something. That's what I believe confidently.
That was an amazing statement coming from you as well. I want to add on to the fact that the new government has a very positive attitude, is looking forward to opening this third terminal, the gateway to Dhaka, the key point installation, the Hazrat Shah Jalal Airport, as well as re-establishing SARC, which has been almost defunct because of various issues from the past governments. It of course stands for South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. It has 8 nations and Bangladesh is one of them. Of course, the State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Shama Obaid Islam, reaffirmed Dhaka's position and unwavering support for revitalizing this regional cooperation. I want to have this question to Norman Floyd Barnes. How important do you think regional cooperation is amongst these 8 nations? I just want to let you know that China is not a part of these 8-nation regional cooperation. How do you see it in the coming days, especially because this new government is giving a positive attitude, a positive vibe, and it is very optimistic regarding to all the problems here in Bangladesh? I want to get a comment from Norman Floyd Barnes.
Yes, thank you for the question. The South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, which I believe originated in Bangladesh.
Yes.
Over the past couple of years, due political issues, that organization has been in what we call a coma. So it's time to revitalize this organization. We have a new government. We have a new opportunity to take a leadership role. The political part need to be moved now to more a technical cooperation for the region. There's several positive things. You have a region, that region is 21% of the world's population is in the South Asian region. Dhaka, Bangladesh sits right in the key to control and direct that's going on. There's several positive things going on. With this organization coming back to life again, getting a recharge, you have a chance to enhance the educational process there. More opportunities for the youth to get more education. You can coordinate the emergency management part of that. Disaster management can now be more of a regional approach versus just a approach by the country. And you have opportunities to basically transfer and share cultural things that is attracted to the rest of the world. It's a hot spot for retreats, recovery, anything to do with health. That is a perfect area, the region. Bangladesh in the position because of the young population can engage in these things, can participate in these things, and more importantly, lead these movements to do things. Let the people know that we are here, we are alive, we're up and running, and we are now working as a unit instead of an individual country or province. This will have an effect, particularly with the young voices on the government, the geopolitical climate of the region, the issues with between Pakistan and India. All these things need to be addressed through this 8 countries that's come together and form one unit and have one voice. And this voice will be very strong, very powerful. It will resonate all across the world that look what can be done. We're talking about today, tomorrow, and the future. Today, tomorrow, and the future, not the past. The past is gone. We got rid of that. We're talking about today, tomorrow, and the future. And the youth will have to take charge. They will have to take leadership role. They're not in a position to participate. We're talking leadership. So we'll do this through this 8-country group. It will have a significant impact on the region, and people will say, hey, that is something we want to do, we want to participate in, and we want to reproduce it ourselves. Right. So great opportunities here, positive impact is there. Now the youth has no excuse. They have to get up, they have to get off their butt and start engaging, running things. It's not to be told here and take this and absorb it. No, it's you. Your time is now, let's do it.
Of course, very important comments from Norman Floyd Barnes. I want to thank him personally for all of these lovely, beautiful statements he has made and valuable contributions to our program here in Bangladesh. I also want to personally thank Mr. Qazi Shah Muzakir Ahmedul for appearing on this program today for his valuable contributions here on international affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude by saying Today is February 24th. It's important globally because it's recognized for marking the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. I shall catch you all on tomorrow's program.